Hello, good morning, distinguished members of the press. On behalf of the inauguration subcommittee of the 2020 presidential transition team, I welcome you this morning to our quick briefing. We would like to update the people of Ghana through you on the general preparedness of the country towards the swearing in of His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as President and Vice President, respectively, on Thursday, January 7, 2021. We are grateful to our media partners who are carrying this program live: GTV, Joy News TV, Asempa FM, Oman FM, Asasi Radio. We are also grateful to all of you for your attendance, and we are hopeful that our message shall be duly amplified. At our last press briefing, ladies and gentlemen, I informed you that following a request by Parliament, the decision has been made to allow for the swearing in of the President of the Republic before Parliament and within the precincts of Parliament. To refresh our memories, please, let's take a listen once again to the Leader of the House, Honorable Oseche Mensah Bonsu, when His Excellency the President was in Parliament to commission the Job 600 Annex on the 3rd of November 2020, long before the conduct of the general elections. Please, let's take a listen to the request of Parliament.
Mr. President, another issue of monumental importance is the matter in respect of the swearing in of presidents-elect. Members of Parliament are united in the principle that an elected president must be sworn in the presence of Parliament, before Parliament, and indeed in Parliament, as the Honorable J.H. Mensah boldly articulated. The Ghanaian electorate always want to be part of and indeed own the process and procedures of the swearing in of our presidents-elect. The space afforded by the small chamber of Parliament makes it difficult to hold the event in the plenary of Parliament, which is why, conveniently, Parliament elects to sit at the Independence Square on such occasions. On that 7th day of January, the election of the Speaker and Deputy Speakers and the swearing in of members of Parliament have to be concluded before Parliament would relocate to the Independence Square to have the President-elect sworn in before the relocated House of Parliament. It is hard to relate that oftentimes before the sitting is suspended for the House to reconvene at Independence Square, the public would have generally taken over the scene of the relocated Parliament. In the event, Parliament, the members are dislodged from what is supposed to be their own house. Members of Parliament, especially those from the party that might have lost the elections, are subjected to vile and vitriolic language in their own house. And Mr. President, sometimes all manner of animals, some of them dressed in party paraphernalia, are paraded in the relocated Parliament. Not surprisingly, most of the members of Parliament who belong to the party that lose out in presidential and general elections elect not to be part or participate in the proceedings that lead to the swearing in of the President. Mr. President, as you agree with us, that cannot be good practice. It's not good practice, and accordingly, the House has decided that the President-elect must from hence, subject to security considerations, be sworn in the presence of Parliament before Parliament and in Parliament. Consequently, Mr. President, the Parliament of Ghana is proposing that the swearing-in of the President-elect should be done in the present presence of Parliament, as happened during the first inauguration of President John Agyekum Kufuor. Mr. President, this is our humble request, and once it meets your agreement, the necessary triggers shall be pulled to get the place ready for the event on January 7th, 2021.
So that was the leader of the House, Honorable Osechemen Sabunsu, making a request to the people and government of Ghana on behalf of Parliament on the 3rd day of November 2020, long before the conduct of the general elections. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, I'd like to refer you to the Presidential Transition Act, Act 845, which states in section 4.1, and I quote, "The team shall establish from amongst the members of the team an inauguration subcommittee which shall be responsible for the organization of the inauguration of the person elected as president into office and for the taking of the oaths of office by the persons elected as president and vice president before Parliament on the 7th of January. That has duly been done. The inauguration subcommittee of the transition team has been formed. It is under the able leadership and chairmanship of the Honorable Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. This morning, we are privileged to be joined by the hard-working minister to update the country on the general state of preparedness towards this all-important event, the swearing-in of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as president for the second term, and also Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as vice president. I shall now invite the Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, please take the podium and brief Ghana on the general state of preparedness for the important ceremony of swearing in of His Excellency the President and His Excellency the Vice President. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Honorable Deputy Minister for Information, Honorable Pius Ajide. Let me also acknowledge members of the Inauguration Committee, friends from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Presidential Transition Team, under the chairmanship of the Chief of Staff, the Honorable Akosua Frema Osei Opare, and the Inauguration Subcommittee, I wish to welcome you to this briefing, which is to apprise the Ghanaian people and the international community on the preparations underway for the swearing-in of the President-elect, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the Vice President-elect, His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia, on Thursday, the 7th of January, 2021. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me indicate that the work of the Inauguration Subcommittee is in consonance with the provisions of the Presidential Transition Act of 2012, Act 845. As you may be aware, Section 4A of the Act provides for the creation of an inauguration committee under the Presidential Transition Team to organize the swearing-in of the President-elect and the Vice President-elect before Parliament. The Inauguration Committee has multi-stakeholder representation and has commenced its work following the constitution of the Presidential Transition Team, which was necessitated by the declaration of the election results conducted on the 7th of December 2020. The swearing-in will be performed before and within the precincts of Parliament in keeping with the 92 Constitution. It is a purely parliamentary activity, and Parliament, which is a master of its own procedures, will take full charge of the proceedings. The ceremony is expected to commence at 11 a.m. prompt. Guests, apart from heads of state, will be expected to be seated by 9:45. The inauguration committee has been working collaboratively with Parliament towards ensuring a successful ceremony. Indeed, the arrangements being made by the committee are geared towards ensuring an elegant, but at the same time a cost-effective ceremony. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, commendable progress has been achieved in terms of the fine details for the ceremony which require our attention. 12 heads of state and government have so far confirmed their participation for the swearing-in ceremony. More confirmations are expected as the date draws nearer. Other foreign dignitaries have also confirmed their participation. The foreign dignitaries attending the inauguration ceremony will have the appropriate courtesies extended to them in line with standard protocol. Arrangements for possible courtesy calls and bilateral meetings have also been catered for. I should mention in that regard that the relevant information pertaining to the specific protocol and courtesies have been communicated to the respective diplomatic missions here in Accra. Additionally, a welcome desk will be set up at the airport Terminal 3, which will be manned by designated protocol liaison security officials to facilitate the smooth participation of the various delegations for the ceremony. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, an elaborate security operations plan has been developed by the security agencies working in tandem with the inauguration committee to ensure that security is maintained before, during, and after the ceremony. The representative of the Ghana Police Service will provide you with more details on the security arrangements for the occasion. The committee has been minded by the COVID-19 protocol for social distancing, which will be adhered to. As part of the protocol guidelines drawn up for the ceremony, visiting delegations will be required to provide a negative 72-hour PCR test before they are admitted into the country. In this connection, participants in the ceremony will be required to keep their face masks on at all times. Indeed, the need to strictly observe the COVID-19 protocols inform the number of persons which will be accredited to participate in the ceremony. In times past, we all know that when this ceremony is held at the Independence Square, we're able to cater for a very large section of Ghanaians and international participants. This time, like I said, because of COVID-19, the protocols that we have to adhere to, it's going to be a much smaller event. The committee understands the huge public interest in the ceremony, but increasing the numbers will be simply disregarding the COVID-19 protocols with its attendant dire consequences for the health and safety of everybody. I will therefore wish to plead with members of the public to follow the ceremony from the comfort of their homes as it will be broadcast live on all major television and radio stations. So if you do not have an invitation, please do not come to the premises. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, after the president-elect takes his oath from Parliament, before Parliament, and the subsequent presidential salute, guests will be hosted to a luncheon at the Accra International Conference Center. The media will be central to the success of this solemn but important constitutional activity in our democratic dispensation. With the support of the media, we can get the relevant information to the general public and cause the public's cooperation for a seamless ceremony. Having said this, I would now like to yield the floor back to the Deputy Minister for Information, Honorable Pius Hajide, to provide this meeting with pertinent information in respect of the media, in respect of publicity and other arrangements for the ceremony. But before he does so, let me conclude my remarks by reiterating my gratitude to the media and the members of the committee for the cooperation and solidarity which have characterized our exchanges and preparatory activities for the forthcoming swearing-in ceremony. I'm available to provide additional information and clarifications that may be requested by members of the media. I thank you.
Ghana celebrates another democratic success story of the Fourth Republic after elections 2020 and prepares for the inauguration of elected representatives and government with the following events. At 10 a.m. on 5th January 2021, His Excellency President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo will deliver his end-of-term State of the Nation address before the 7th Parliament of the Fourth Republic. On the stroke of midnight on 6th January 2021, the 7th Parliament would stand dissolved. There will be the selection of Speaker of Parliament and 2 Deputy Speakers, paving way for the inauguration of the 8th Parliament of the Fourth Republic. On 7th January 2021, President-elect Nana Addo Akufo-Addo will take the oath of office and be sworn in as President, with Vice President-elect Dr. Bawumia to begin their second term in office. This event will take place in the precinct of Parliament House at 10 a.m. Attendance is strictly by invitation. These landmark events to strengthen Ghana's democracy will be live on this network and other digital online platforms. Long live the Republic of Ghana.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister and Chairperson of the Inauguration Subcommittee of the Transition Team. Without a doubt, you have been extremely busy coordinating the efforts of the committee, and your country is grateful to you for your continued services. Indeed, we acknowledge receipt of over 200 requests for media accreditation to cover the swearing-in and investiture of President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Alhaji Dr. Bawumia. A media village with capacity to seat about 200 media personnel has been erected within the precincts of Parliament, and within which all media personnel will operate. All media personnel will operate from within the media village, which has been erected within the precincts of Parliament. We all know that there are over 400 television and radio stations across the country that are willing and are capable of transmitting the event. But we are unable to allow 400 cameras and microphones within the main chamber of the event. The state broadcaster, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, GBC, will handle the entire television production from the main chamber of Parliament, and both television and radio production from within the main chamber of Parliament. They will transmit clean feed on satellite Astra 4A and also on free-to-air FTA, on logical channel LCN 5, logical channel number 5, GTV Live, The feed will also be available on the national DTT platform. GBC will also provide clean feed on SDI and HDMI platforms at the media village for all media practitioners who want to stream the footage. And so, for the avoidance of doubt, we have requested for the request for accreditations. Those have been received, they are being processed. By end of day, accreditation will go to the media who have requested accreditation, but the media will be operating from within the media village that has been erected in the precincts of Parliament. Honourable Minister indicated that COVID-19 has imposed great limitations on all of us. So the razzmatazz and the fanfare that normally occasions events such as this will have to be reimagined. And these have security implications as well. They have implications for traffic management. With the permission of the Honorable Minister, I would like to kindly invite onto the podium the Director of Operations at the MTTD, Superintendent Dr. Samuel Sasu-Mensah, to debrief the country and update us. On the general security situation and special focus on traffic management strategies. Superintendent Dr. Samuel Sasu-Mensah is Director of Operations at the Police MTTD. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Deputy Minister, for information. Madam Chairperson, ladies and gentlemen from the press, all protocols observed. This briefing is from the Ghana Police Service and specifically from the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service. These are contingency and elaborate plans that we intend to implement during the event as specified by Madam in the chair. Practically what we are going to do is we are going to cordon off the enclaves of where the event is going to be held. That is at the forecourt of Parliament on the 7th of January 2021. And with the issue of the inner perimeter cordon, it is going to run through the Akwaje interchange, the National Theatre traffic light, Usu Cemetery traffic light, and the GIG and the press center, specifically to manage traffic along the enclaves. This is what we intend to do. We intend to close or block some routes within the arena. And the routes that we are going to block or close are first the Osu Cemetery traffic light on the local street. That road is totally going to be sealed. Then again, we are talking about the Castle Road from the AU Circle to Osu Cemetery traffic light. Then we are also talking about the crossroads heading towards the Starless 95 or the Starless 91 Street. Then the Independence Arc near the Ohene Jan Sports Stadium. We are also talking of the Gamal Abdul Nasser Avenue, which is near the Ghana Institute of Journalism Road on Haile Selassie Street. Then finally, we are talking, or we are going to block or partially seal the Opebia 37 Hospital Interchange and the Akwaji on the Liberation Route. As a result of these closures, we have earmarked places for route diversions. So against this background, what we are saying is that motorists who are driving from the local streets are expected to use the 28th February route through the John Evans at Amos High Street to the Central Business District, or pass through the Oxford Street, through Dankwa Circle, and then to the Ring Road en route to Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and continue with their various destinations. Then traffic from AU roundabout towards the Castle Road through Osu Cemetery will be diverted onto the Independence Avenue through El Sunosi Street in front of the Ghana Institute of Journalism on the Haile Selassie Street. Then we are talking of traffic from CBD, Kimbu on the Independence Avenue will also be diverted onto the Barnes route and Liberia route to link up to Kanda and then to Medina. Finally, traffic which is merging from Medina on the Liberation route would also be diverted onto the Kesley-Hayford Road, then to Obasanjo Highway and the Kanda Highway to link up with Central Business District. Let us emphasize that only vehicles assigned with VIP or invited guest tickets would be allowed to cross at the various checkpoints to park at designated car parks. What I'm trying to say is that if you are not accredited, if you have not been given invited guest tickets, you will not be allowed entry into the inner corridor or inner cordon. All our vehicles will be allowed to park at the Independence Square, and occupants subsequently bused or chauffeured to where the event is going to take place. Traffic police officers will definitely be positioned on various routes to assist the motoring public, while the public is to note that any vehicle, let me stress, any vehicle which is parked at an authorized place would be towed and the drivers or owners prosecuted. Then again, only those vehicles with invitation cards or accreditation, as I've stated, can gain access to the zone area. Then again, parking zones have been assigned to different categories of invited guests and dignitaries. The general public, especially motorists, are once again urged to cooperate with the police to ensure effective and efficient traffic management to ensure the success of the event. Motorists are further advised to note these arrangements and plan alternative routes before embarking on their various journeys. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Superintendent Dr. Samuel Sasu Mensah, Director of Operations, Police MTD, and we are grateful to the Ghana Police Service for their continued service to the Republic. By a statement, the police administration has reassured the nation that they have put in place security measures for the inauguration of the President-elect of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Vice President-elect His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, speakers and members of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic on 7th January 2021 at Accra. Again, it is important that we show appreciation to the police that apart from the general security which they are coordinating in conjunction with the other security forces, including the Armed Forces of Ghana and allied security forces and services, the police are also performing other critical ceremonial roles, the bearing of the state sword, the performance by the police band, escort by the police mounted squadron, and then the police motorcade. And so we are grateful to the Ghana Police. The Ghana Police is urging the public to continue to cooperate with security arrangements for the inaugural ceremonies of the 7th of January 2021 in support of the constitutional framework of government. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister in chair of the occasion, we will also like to remind the people of Ghana that in addition to being the statutory date for the swearing in of presidents-elect and vice presidents-elect, 7th of January is also the National Constitution Day and is therefore a public holiday. The 7th of January is Constitution Day and is also therefore a public holiday. And so it is our view that traffic around the enclave, the ceremonial enclave, the State House enclave will be decongested because normally people would have been going to work. And because it is a public holiday, we believe that the work of the police will be made much, much more easier. We continue to crave the indulgence of the good people of Ghana to cooperate and to assist. As we have been informed, several heads of state within the West African sub-region, within the Africa region, and in fact, from across the globe, have their eyes on Ghana and intend to visit and grace our occasion. It is therefore important that we discharge ourselves as the peaceful, law-abiding and accommodating country that we are known to be. And so please, the general public is advised, and strongly so too, to follow the beautiful and solemn ceremony of inauguration of the president on television and on radio from the comfort of our various homes. Dr. Samuel Sasu Mensah, you may resume your seat now, and we can allow for questions. The Honorable Minister has a very, very busy day today. She, again, is a member of Parliament, and today is a busy day for them. And her last day in Parliament, she served the people with distinction, and when the applause was loudest, the Honorable Minister decided on her own to make way for other equally capable hands to take charge. And so today is the last day in Parliament. We have to let her enjoy it to the fullest. But committee duties also are calling, and so please, we shall allow her back on the podium. If there are any questions for the Honourable Minister, this is a good time to take the questions. Honourable Minister, you are back on the podium, and then if I can be assisted to set up the microphone, and we can take the questions that we want to ask. If you give us your name, your media house, you can ask your quick question, straight to the point, no long preambles, so we can do it quickly.
And as you rightly said, since we are complying with the COVID-19 protocols, invited heads of state supposed to present negative PCR test results. I want to find out, in the event a head of state tests, let's say, positive at the airport, would he or she be isolated as the president has directed? Then I also read that an erected tent has been put in place at the Parliament House where the president will be sworn in. I want to find out whether it is appropriate and it has any legal implication, since you have been announced that the ceremony is supposed to take place at the Chamber of Parliament. But now that an erected tent has been put in place outside the Parliament House or the Chamber, would it have any legal implication? Then I also want to find out the time. You said 11 o'clock, but the advertised time that have been running on radio and other social media is 10 o'clock. So is it contradictory? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You've asked 3 very interesting questions. That is, if a head of state tests positive. If you listened carefully to what I said, all visitors will be required to present a negative PCR test on arrival. So if a head of state or any guest tests positive, they will not even set off to come to Ghana. And this is the usual protocol. When we are going, we are also required to ensure that we do the test before we embark on the journey. Anybody who tests positive will not travel. Tent, whether the swearing in the tent is legal. I said that Parliament is a master of its own rules. Parliament can decide to sit under a tree. Once they are gathered, it is Parliament. So if you recall, in times past, we have held this ceremony at the Independence Square. And the president-elect, vice president-elect have been sworn before Parliament. So Parliament is constituted once the Speaker is present, members of Parliament are present, and the mace, the symbol of authority, is present. So we can decide as Parliament to even go to my constituency on a park and meet there, and it will still be a properly constituted Parliament. So yes, the tent, which has been erected right in front of the chamber in the precincts of Parliament, once the Speaker and the parliamentarians and the mace are present in that tent, that is Parliament. And then the other question you asked is that it's been advertised that we will start at 10 o'clock. The ceremony, like I said, will start at 11 a.m. However, all guests must be seated by 9:45. By 9:45, different activities by 10 o'clock, different activities may start. The speaker and the clerks will file in around that time. The judiciary, the Supreme Court, they will file in as well. So it is a process. Then the heads of state will come in before the vice president-elect and the president-elect. And then at 11 a.m. prompt, the ceremony will start. Yes, the names. So far, we have several heads of state and government who have accepted or who are going to be part of the ceremony. Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Mali, Chad, Angola, Equatorial Guinea, Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Guinea, Togo, Niger, and the other countries that will be represented, such as Gambia and Nigeria, by the foreign ministers. We also have the foreign minister of India, the foreign minister of France, foreign minister of Rwanda, foreign minister of Gabon. We also have the Attorney General and Minister of Justice of Gambia. We have the UK Minister for Africa. We have the US Special Envoy responsible for the Sahel. Of course, we have the President of the ECOWAS Commission and also the Chairperson of the AU Commission. We have representatives of the Conservative Party from the United Kingdom, and we have representatives of the CDU and allied parties from Germany. So far, these are the confirmations we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister. We shall take the next question. This one was like a quadruple decker question, if we can de-escalate a little.
Okay, so my name is Eric. I work with Star FM. First off, we've seen a lot of security deployment at the precinct of Parliament ahead of the swearing-in ceremony. The minority in Parliament has had cause to raise concerns about the high number of security persons that we've seen. I want to take a response from government as to the concerns being raised by the minority that too many security personnel have been deployed for the swearing-in. And also, is it a case that government or the police architecture has picked signals of a potential plan to disrupt the ceremony, which is resulting in these large numbers that we're seeing?
Good morning, Honourable Minister. My name is Nana Peku from Daily Searchlight. Currently, we have almost neck-to-neck parliamentarians from both sides, the two major parties. Now, in your estimation, assuming that there's a deadlock of selecting a speaker, what happens? Because we now have 107 with one independent. So if we come to a deadlock and there's no a clear choosing of a speaker from both sides, what happens to Parliament? Is it going to stall the work of Parliament, or what is going to happen to our democracy?
Honourable Minister, you have been invited to speculate on what may happen in Parliament. I don't think that it's fair to you to speculate the ifs and whens. But I shall defer to you if you feel like you have a response. We will be too kind to receive. I'll defer to you, and I'll come back to the general issue of security and over-deployment. Minister.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Let me say that there is nothing, to answer the first question on security, there's nothing like too many security personnel. There's nothing like that. We should be worried if there is no security present at a place like that. And we should be very worried. So we should be very happy, and minority and all, we all should be very happy that the security, the services are all over. And first of all, when you have a function that is not just an internal one, but it's international in nature because of the visitors who are coming, it is incumbent on us to ensure that security is at its highest, to ensure their safety whilst they are here, even before, during, and after. Secondly, we are not in normal times in terms of what is happening around us, around Ghana. And so every country, whether every West African country, whether it's Ghana, Burkina Faso, the Côte d'Ivoire, all our countries are always these days on very high alert because of all the activities of terrorists and all these things are happening. So yes, it is important. Yes, it is important. And again, yes, it is very important to have them. Now, on your question about a deadlock, this is pure speculation. And I don't want to delve into that. But I can assure you that we have a majority and a minority. Even if it's by one, it is still a majority. And in Parliament, when a speaker is being elected, even when you have a huge majority, there are a few incidents which are part of parliamentary proceedings in the election during the election of a speaker. So, I mean, really, we shouldn't speculate. I believe that at midnight when Parliament constitutes, a speaker will be elected. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. And if I may also ask the questions about, are there plans or do we suspect or have intelligence about plans to disrupt the ceremony? The answer is that, like Minister has said, no responsible government will leave any stone unturned, and that security is one of the foremost responsibilities of any government. And so we shall not renege or relegate on it. The suggestion has also been made rather erroneously that our members of parliament are also a possible point of distraction. We do not hold that view. It is our considered opinion that members of parliament, both present and incoming, are persons of high repute, and they have been duly elected by their constituents to represent them and to perform duties imposed on them by the Constitution, including the attendance at parliamentary meetings, selection of speakers, and so on. And so we are very clear in our minds that the Parliament of Ghana is up to the task, and that there will not be any problem from any quarter whatsoever, irrespective of which political party they may be representing in Parliament. We are very confident about our parliamentarians. We hope and pray that we shall all live by the Constitution and do just by it. Another important announcement: the committee would want to inform the general public that vehicles, all vehicles, will be parked at the Independence Avenue. Independence Square. And there will be shuttle services between the Independence Square and the precincts of Parliament. So if you have your car, like we have been informed by the Director of Operations, there has to be a sticker on your car to allow you entrance into the main venue. But even then, you cannot park within the venue. You have to move. If you have a driver, the driver can drop you off within the venue and move away, not within the precincts, around the perimeter and move away. No car can park within Parliament, and you have to go to the Independence Square. For those of us who do not have the stickers, the car stickers, but we do have invitation cards, you follow the route as has been instructed by the police MTTD. You get to the Independence Square, you use your invitation card. It is an access. It's more like your trot ticket, but it's not trot. These are air-conditioned buses provided, kind courtesy the hard-working minister. The committee has provided very comfortable STC air-conditioned buses. And so these buses will transport persons who are invited and who duly have the invitation cards from the Independence Square to the precincts of Parliament. And so let us take note of that as well. And for the avoidance of doubt, the diversions will be made available on our social media handles, and we will kindly request our friends in the media to amplify. People need to know the roads that have been closed and what the alternative routes are. We are grateful for your participation and your partnership, our friends in the media, and we rely on you. We are live on GTV, the station of the nation, Joy News, Asempa FM, Oman FM, Asasi Radio, MX24 television. We are also streaming live on myjoyonline.com. We are also streaming live on all social media handles of the Ministry of Information. In the absence of any further questions, are there any other questions? Honorable Minister, do you want to make a closing remark?
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister. Let me thank each and every one of you for coming. And in concluding, I would like to appeal to the people of Ghana to work with us, collaborate. Please, please, we have laid out all the do's and don'ts, the processes, what needs to be done, what is going to happen, and we are hoping and praying that you will do your best. Two, for those of you who do not have any invitations, please watch the ceremony. It will be a beautiful ceremony in the comfort of your home. For those of you who have invitations to come, please adhere to all the protocols that we've put in place, and also adhere to the COVID-19 protocols. We do not want a situation where we would finish this beautiful ceremony and then there will be a spike in numbers because people come, they do not wear their face mask, they don't adhere to the protocols that have been set out for all of us. But I can assure you that Ghanaians are always, always, always decent and law-abiding people, and therefore those who come, I hope that we will keep to all these accolades that always define us, and for those of you who can't come also, you will join us and celebrate with the President-elect, with the Vice President-elect, and that I can assure you that the next 4 years will be 4 years of service to the nation by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the Vice President and his government. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you, media, that you will conduct your affairs as the Deputy Minister has laid out the procedures, what you need to do, how you will be accredited, and how you will take your feed from GBC, that it will be done as usual, like you always do, in a very orderly manner. We thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Yes. So please, let's be reminded, the Minister has told us that by 9:45 we should all be seated, And so it means that the buses that I spoke of will start leaving the Independence Square at 8 o'clock, and by 9:30 the buses would have stopped transporting people. The buses would have stopped transporting people from the square to the Prince. That is the only way we can be seated by 9:45. We thank you very much and do have a good day.